Hey guys, Babs with Listen to Your Inner You. My website is listentoyourinneryou.com. You can book sessions on there. I have email and Skype sessions. I wanted to talk about the rush, right? We want everything immediately. Of course we want everything right now. Okay, but the more you want it right now, the less you're going to get it right now, because that means you have expectations or some sort of other attachment, right? Because as long as we're looking at a timeline, as long as there's a timeline involved in our head, it probably means you have too much attachment to even let it in. So deliberate receiving comes in, right? You want to be able to receive it. How can you do that? Relax. How do you relax, Babs? Jeez, I've tried everything. Well, first of all, I really am making a lot of videos about this because this is one of the most important things that I have discovered. I haven't discovered it. Everyone knows about this. I just had to learn how to trust it. Know that you have everything already. Everything you want already exists. You don't have to create it. You just have to ask for it. You just have to know it's here. Again, what does it feel like to know that you have something? It feels comforting, confident, safe, secure. Knowing, the energy of knowing is so much different than wanting to get something. You want to get this manifestation, and that's why you have a timeline in your head. When do I get it? When does it show up? Etc., right? Let that go. Know that you don't need it. Know that you already have it. And do your own thing. These three things are so important. And with those three things, and then obviously getting your focus work straight, I've been able to manifest things out of thin air, literally. That's how it works. That's how it works. You just manifest it. Manifesting just means it is actually coming together in the 3D. Doesn't mean you have to create it. You're not creating shit. The word create and manifesting is a misconception because, yeah, we are creating something in the 3D, but it doesn't mean you're creating it inside. It already has been created. That's why you're able to think about it. That's why you're able to visualize it. That's why you're able to see it in your head or feel it in your body, however you go into the living in the end part, right? That's why I do visualizations, and I love visualizations so much. And by knowing that you have everything you want, it gets rid of so much fears you can have around it. Obviously, if you still have fears and you know what you have, there's something else going on. This is every one of my videos, there's always something else that could be going on, and it's a one-on-one session where we can figure out what that is. But generally, if you've done everything else right, know that you have it and live in the end that way. It's not a 24/7 thing. You don't constantly think about it and know that you have it, because if you constantly think about it, then you have attachment, usually. So knowing that you have what you want, that's a belief thing, that's a trust thing, that's an always thing. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves, oh, why am I stressing about it? I already have what I want. It's on the inside, not the outside world. Ignore the 3D, because the 3D is only a reflection of the inside world. That is the number one. You have to remember this. The outside world is only a reflection of your inside world. That's why I always try to drill in your heads. Change your belief systems, because your beliefs cause stories and they push out. And when you have your beliefs set right, start with the core beliefs. I have so many videos. Please don't ask me what the core beliefs are. They're so basic. I have a million videos about them. They're usually the same ones for most people. Change them all. I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm good enough. And then there's a lot of other ones that come with it. So you want to change the underlying beliefs that cause these annoying negative stories. And don't just change the stories, because when you don't change your underlying beliefs, the stories will keep repeating. And that's why you have found my channel, because something keeps repeating. There's a pattern. You keep losing your SP. You keep losing your relationships. You keep losing the money you manifest. You keep losing friends. Whatever you're losing, you're something is off, right? And you're feeling it. And that's why you have found my channel, because you have to change the underlying beliefs that cause the stories that keep repeating, because they're a pattern. Beliefs are patterns. Beliefs can also create more patterns. So you want to change that. And then you go into you know what you have. And when you know that you have everything you want, for some reason, the mind singles out then the negative stories that you have, and they pop up really easily. And if you don't know how to catch your negative stories, set an affirmation that, oh, I love that I always catch my negative stories so easily, right? Whatever you want to say. What if you can't, if you feel like you can't do it, stop saying you can't, because you can, because that's just a story you're repeating. But if you sometimes don't catch a certain story, and that happens to the best of us all the time, and that's why I often talk to my friends who know manifesting, and they catch that story, because sometimes we're in the middle of the woods and we can't see the woods for all the trees, right? I think every language probably has that saying because it's so common. So, what do you keep saying to the other person about, let's say it's an SP story and you can't find that one story that keeps bugging you, right? But you haven't been able to figure it out. So what do you keep saying to your friend? Why is your SP not back? Or why is your SP doing what they're doing? Figure out what you're saying to other people to figure out what you're repeating in your head. Or straight up do the visualization, do the 4 steps that Amy and I teach, the 4 steps of visualize, do you believe it's possible or not? What comes up? Why? But whatever. And then detach. There's so many different ways, but knowing that you have what you want is already here. It is one of the most important things that has created so much manifesting for me, that just pops it up like big manifestations one after another. And then again, know that you have everything you want already. It's already there. It already exists. You don't have to create it. You just have to ask for it. And asking for it sometimes includes that you have to work through attachment and resistance, meaning limiting stories. Know that you have what you want already. Know it. Believe it. It's a believe. Straight up believe. So then also when you're waiting on your manifestation, you're like, you know what? I've done everything right. Why isn't it here? Well, first of all, when you're asking why isn't it here, that's usually expectation or attachment. Again, you can have all these things. You can still get what you want with expectations, with attachment. You just want to reduce them to a certain level where that it then can come in, right? So you don't have to ever get rid of all resistance. You don't ever have to get rid of all attachment. You don't ever have to get rid of all expectations. Just enough of everything to kind of let it in. You're kind of taking down that brick wall, right? That's blocking the view to this beautiful meadow. So you're just taking a couple bricks out, enough for you to crawl over it or go through it. You don't have to take the whole wall down. So back to the rush, right? When we want something right now, you are not in the space of knowing that you have what you want. Because if you knew that you had what you want already, you wouldn't be stressing about when it's going to show up. When you know that you have everything you want and you don't need it, right? It's a combination of 2 ways to detach and stay detached. You know that you have it and you don't need it. That's kind of an important combination of those two. And then you can eliminate the rush because it takes care of the fears, it takes care of the timeline, et cetera, it takes care of so many things, and you just chillax. And then guess what happens? It comes in much faster because you're not trying to get it anymore. You're not trying to wait for it. Getting and waiting is a neediness, and that's attachment. It always translates as attachment. And you're pushing things away by having this attachment. It's like the donkey that has the carrot dangling in front of its head and it can't reach it because it's attached to itself, so it keeps pushing it away. Kind of like that. So you want to stop and sit back and say, why am I rushing? Babs, why are you telling us to not rush? We want it right now. You only want it right now because you think you need it. You don't. You don't need it. You don't ever need it. You will never need it. You want it. It's not a survival need. You want it. You don't need it. Very important. And you already have it. So why does it matter if it pushes out in the 3D or not? If I already have it on the inside, it feels much more fulfilling to know that you have what you want on the inside than trying to look for something on the outside. Because when you constantly look for things on the outside to validate and satisfy you, then you have a bigger need issue. And that's probably a core belief or a core pattern that comes from whatever. We can work through it. Call me. Email me. Book a session. Don't call me. So when you're constantly looking for something on the outside to fulfill you, that is a need. You need to stop it. You need to stop it, right? You have to stop looking for the outside to validate you and to make you happy and to fulfill you. You got to give yourself everything that you're looking for from the manifestation. And as long as you're looking for the manifestation, where is it? You are looking for the manifestation to fulfill something in you, and you got to drop that need because it's big enough to actually push the manifestation away. So I'm telling you, you can get things really quickly. We've all had immediate manifestations, but there's also always a delay. Sometimes the delay in when you shift it on the inside and then it comes out on the outside, sometimes it's a second long, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 2 years, because you haven't shifted it yet on the inside, or something is blocking it. I hate the word block. Something is preventing it from showing up. You just have to eliminate one thing at a time. Don't do everything all at once. Eliminate one thing at a time, because sometimes things that you may think are a problem aren't a problem, and then you shift that one thing and poof, it shows up a week or two later or a month later. Don't put a timeline on it, because as soon as you put a timeline on it, you have enough attachment to keep it away and push it away. I want you to remember this. Know that you have it already on the inside. Know that you'll be okay no matter what, and you don't need it. And then see what stories are left over and work through that. Again, the energy of trying to get something, especially, it's really tricky with affirmations. With affirmations, it's really easy to get in the energy of trying to get something with the affirmation. You're not trying to get something. You are not trying to get something. You are trying to ask for something and receive it. That is it. Stop trying to get something. Get into the energy. Oh, that word get. Get into the energy of knowing. Just know it. You don't have to even get into the energy. It's an incorrect word, because at this point I have an aversion to that word get. But we say it. It's a word. But you want to know that you have what you want. You want to know that you don't need it, and you'll be okay no matter what. And then do your focus work here and there. But you know what? At that point, you're probably not thinking about your manifestation very much anymore. And then if something negative comes up, you probably will catch it much faster. And then you go, oh, poof, it's right here. Oh, shit, that was way easier and way faster than I thought. Stop fighting the timeline. Stop fighting you. Stop rushing. Because the more you rush and you want it right now, the less you will get it right now. When have you ever received anything by saying, I want it right now? Where is it? You don't. I'm yelling because I'm trying to get to you here. So stop trying to get it. Stop trying to rush and relax. And you can relax by knowing that you have it and not needing it. I promise this works. And do you. You know, part of detaching actually is you start doing you. Do things that feel good, make you happy, externally make you happy. Obviously, there's two ways of making yourself happy, and they're both important, is internally and externally. Figure out what you need to do to be you and be happy inside and out. And do you know that you have what you want, and know that you don't need it, because you are always taken care of. You are always taken care of. You're still alive. You're still here. Maybe your circumstances aren't what you want right now. Doesn't mean that they're never going to show up. You just have to give it time. You do not determine the timeline. The universe does, which is your higher you. It's still you. Do gratitude. Gratitude does a lot of wonderful things. It gets us into the energy of already having it. So that helps even more. Just do you. Know that you have what you want, and know that you don't need it, because you'll always be taken care of. You are always taken care of. Prove me wrong. You're still alive. You're still figuring things out. Congratulations, you're still doing it. This should help. Should is always an expectation thing, right? But expectations are okay to a certain degree. Just like eating burgers is okay to a certain degree, or fries, French fries.